Dave, there's a lot of stuff going on over in your country there in Ireland.
There's lots going on. I mean, with the farmers themselves, what they're trying to do is pretty much eradicate farming. They want a massive cull on all the cattle. Like we were known back when I was a kid for farming. Ireland was good for farming, for potatoes, for sugar beet, for all of these wonderful things that we get to eat. But they have slowly eradicated that because they try to push us more towards database centers and stuff like that. We are now importing most of our foods from Brazil and places like that. Like we're importing potatoes, we're importing onions, we're importing beef. We've some of the best beef in the world. It makes absolutely no sense at all. And what they're doing now is they're basically saying the gas that's caused by the cows are causing problems with the atmosphere and the ozone layer and global warming and all that kind of stuff. But it's kind of a little bit more complex to that as well. Why the farmers are getting really angry here is we've got a mass influx of illegal immigrants, and a lot of them immigrants are getting put up in houses. They're getting social welfare money from the government and all of this. So they're helping the farmers feel like, okay, we're getting no help from anybody. We don't get any social welfare. You're trying to eradicate us. You're trying to get rid of the cattle. You're trying to get rid of everything. So now there's been a massive uprising with the farmers, and they've got together. The farming community have got together, and they've started to make their own political party. Now, what they're doing is they're starting to pull into the towns and shut towns down as a protest to the government. They've also come out in support of their friends in Paris and in France. I was only in France, and as we were leaving Paris there last week, they were starting to shut the city down. So it's it's a strange one. That's only like the tip of the iceberg, and that's only with farming, but it seems to be worldwide what they're doing, So get rid of the good, clean food and feed us full of sugar and crap,
Yeah. How many people live in Ireland right now? What's the population?
There's about 5.1 million around that mark. But we have, I think, over the last 15, 20 years, there's over 1 million immigrants that are coming into the country.
Yeah.
So it's massive. Like, it's absolutely massive. And there's a massive fear with the native people in the country, where we've got a massive problem with homelessness. There's people living in tents. There's people dying on the street. We've got a massive problem with the health system. There's a child was reported last week that missed out on spinal surgery, and it will now be paralyzed for the rest of their life. There's old people waiting on trolleys in corridors. There's a massive shortage of hospital beds, but they're not paying the staff. They're not paying the nurses. So we built this wonderful hospital that's still not finished, and it's the most expensive hospital in the world, and it's a children's hospital. They put it in a part of the city which made no sense because there's no infrastructure. It's in the middle of the city. It's very hard to get in and get out of the place. So there's questions asked over why that place was picked. So, there's all of these. Did somebody get paid in the background? Did somebody not get paid in the background? But it made absolutely no sense. Now, this hospital has gone over budget and gone over budget and gone over budget. And it's now the most expensive hospital to be built in the world. And it's still not finished. Now, when they finish it, they still won't have the staff to work in. We are exporting a lot of our workforce. They're gone to Australia. They're gone everywhere else because they can't afford to live in Dublin. They can't afford to live in Ireland. It's absolutely bonkers. It's crazy.